host, Sean Ferrell of the Sean Ferrell podcast. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. And let's not waste no time, shall we? Let's get right into it. Pro athletes and mental health. A lot of athletes are starting to come forward and be a little bit more open about their mental health. And certain athletes that have stepped forward, including one of my favorites, which happens to be the quarterback of my favorite team, Dak Prescott. I'll get to him in a second, but I just did some research on some pro athletes and mental health, and Ronda Rousey, after she lost to, I forget her name, Holly something. Oh my goodness, can't remember her. I never leave the name. Holly Holmes, something like that. Anyway, after she got knocked out, she actually contemplated committing suicide as well. So her mental health was pretty bad there for a second, but she had her boyfriend for support, and her family as well helped her get through it. And she's actually a star in the WWE as well. Ali Rassman, she struggled with anxiety, and she was actually a victim of the Larry Nassar assault. And she said that being mean to herself didn't serve her well. So she also mentioned how she had to act like everything was fine and not show that that she is struggling. So pretending to be okay until you don't have the energy to all of a sudden pretend to be okay. Michael Phelps, I'm gonna get to him in a second. Hayden Hurst, he's a tight end for the Cleveland Browns, I believe. I think he signed as a free agent with the Cleveland Browns. Got the yips as a minor league baseball player, which means nerves affect the performance. And Hayden Hurst also mentioned that they came dangerously close to being like terminal yips. He also mentioned that he woke up in a hospital handcuffed and covered in blood after his suicide attempt. He mentioned how he hit rock bottom. He quit abusing substances. So I guess doing drugs, I guess. He cleaned up his life. Started the Hayden Hurst Family Foundation, which you can Google and go to. He also had an uncle and cousin who ended their lives by suicide. Which is a perfect transition into Dak Prescott. His brother ended his life in April of 2020. He suffered from depression and he sought help. As a matter of fact, I have one of his shirts for his Faith, Fight, and Finish Foundation, which is Ask for Help. That's one of the shirts that I like to wear. But his brother ended his life in April 2020. He suffered depression. He sought help. And he also mentioned how at the beginning of everything that went on, how he struggled with isolation. In the early months of March 2020, he mentioned how much he struggled with isolation, how that made him depressed. Not just athletes, but regular people in general who deal with mental health issues. We need people to be around us. We need people to be around us. That's how we. That's how we feel better. That's what makes us. That's kind of our support system. When we go out and we have dinner with a friend, or we go to a support group meeting every week. That's what helps us through. And Dak mentioned that he struggled with isolation during the early months of the pandemic, and he sought help. I believe he's also worked with Hayden Hurst. So he works with Hayden Hurst, and which is another perfect transition into Solomon Thomas of the Oakland Raiders, I believe. He might have signed with somebody else, but Solomon Thomas lost his sister to suicide in 2018. And he works with mental health coaches. He works with mental health coaches. Because he has his own issues with mental health. And he also does meditation, journaling. I know for me, I got a small sandbox right here. I got a candle right here. A scented candle right here. I got a waterfall right here. That's out of sight. Also have several other candles behind me right there to use. But yeah, meditation. I do basically meditation, journaling, getting out in nature. Getting out in nature seriously helps. Especially when the sun, especially when there's a beautiful sunny day, like today. It's beautiful and sunny. So, all right, let me work my way back to Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps won 8,000 gold medals in the Olympics. Okay. And but he struggled with depression and substance abuse. Okay, so he explained that depression, how he just stayed in his room for several days, just depressed, out the mind, or something like that. Just really, really depressed. In 2014, he checked himself into a inpatient treatment center where he spent 45 days. He also says that his depression and anxiety is just never going to disappear. Which is very, very true, because one of my counselors told me that I told her about a situation, and she said that sounds like that you have been lifelong depressed, which is probably truth. I would say. Which is probably a pretty accurate statement, I believe to be true. You know, I think I have been lifelong depressed. And, but again, counseling, meditation, I just mentioned I have candles, sandbox, waterfall that are all out of sight. But I have those things, getting out in nature, that helps too. And so just a little side note about Ricky Williams, the football player. He struggled with social anxiety, okay? And he struggled so much that when he did interviews, he would often do interviews with his helmet on. He actually talked to reporters with his helmet on, so he wouldn't see them face to face. He also wore his visor, a helmet visor, kind of like the visor you use to block out the sun when you're playing. He used that, so yeah. So Ricky Williams had social anxiety, disorder. All right, that's all I wanted to say. Sports, athletes, pro sports, and mental health. I'm just all over the map today. Anyway, I'm out here, y'all. Peace.